democracy is about to be done away with. I mean, you can see the way the governing class is beginning to move on this by looking at the recent judgment of the Supreme Court on whether so-called gay, so-called marriage should be allowed. Now, never mind the morality of this. It's rather straightforward in my mind. Homosexuality is medically dangerous, rather more so than smoking, and therefore the state should not promote it in any way. If people want to do it, they can do their own thing, but the state should not promote it any more than it should promote smoking. The state should instead warn them of the dangers, and for that reason it should not be celebrating homosexuality or saying that so-called gay, so-called marriage is a good idea. But set aside that, that wasn't even in front of the justices. They didn't think of it in the moral arguments. The question is, what does the law say? Now, the Constitution does not say that gay marriage is something which is a necessary liberty of the citizen in the United States. So what the justices have done is they have grabbed absolute power. They've said, well, the legislators in some states only have done this, but others they haven't. Congress hasn't legislated for it, so we will legislate for it. Now, they were not able to produce any precedents that gave them the power to do this. They just said, we don't care. We think we speak for the conscience of the nation, and we're going to do this regardless of what the law says. And if you really want to read something enjoyable, then the short but wonderful dissenting opinion of Justice Scalia is very well worth reading. But what has happened here is this same totalitarian, of course it was all the communists, Kagan and Sotomayor and the others, who voted in favor of this nonsense, and the more conservative ones voting against. But what was astonishing about this was this assumption on the part of the Supreme Court that it could do what it liked, and it could count on Congress not to pass a law putting it back in its box. Because Congress is so divided now that you can't get the necessary two-thirds majority to tell the Supreme Court how to interpret the Constitution. And so they've decided they're going to govern by decree. That's effectively what that judgment was. It wasn't reasoned in law at all. The majority judgment was the most pathetic document. But it's this same tendency on the far left. They don't care about the law. They don't care about democracy. They care only about the party line. The party line says so-called gay, so-called marriage is wonderful. Therefore, never mind the law, never mind the facts, never mind the medical damage, never mind the moral case, we are going to force this down people's throats. And that's the left all over. Totalitarians are like that. They want to control every aspect of our lives, whether we like it or not, and indeed, especially where we don't like it. That's what they want to do. They like that. This feeling of absolute fingertip control over every tiny detail of our lives. That's why the global warming thing is so attractive to them, because it allows them the excuse, the pretext, the fig leaf, so that they can set up a global, totalitarian, all-powerful, all-wealthy government to which we will all then become subject, and it will increase its powers and its wealth and its reach over time in the same way that the EU has done. Once you start this process, it is extremely difficult to stop it. And that's what they're going to do. And at the moment, I'm afraid they're going to get away with it.